shut up and die.
I think it's apparent I need to rethink my life a little bit.
Pussy. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is ConnerDose. If you don't know who I am, my content consists of close quarter combat or melee per se. Now we're back with part 2 of the series melee review of Arc Raiders. What we're going to be discussing here is new ideas for new weapons, a proposal that I have for the developers, buffs, nerfs, recommendations, skill tree revamped overall, and at the end of the video I have a loadout that I use currently. If you would like to try it out, make sure you stick to the end of the video. And if you are enjoying it throughout the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any feedback that you would like to provide, please leave it in the comments below. Myself and the developers can't read your mind, so make sure you drop that in the comments so we can take that into account. Let's jump right into it. We're out of freaking stamina. Ah, I got stunned. No way. Ah. How you doing?
What'd you say?
I said I have a question.
A question?
Yeah.
Yeah, what up?
What do you think of the guns in this game? You think they're too strong, too weak?
Depends on what you're discussing.
So what's your favorite weapon?
PvP or ARC?
Well, mainly PvP.
I'd say they're fairly balanced. Overpowered? I would say no. I'd say they're maybe a little underpowered, but depending on your build.
Oh, so
like just base model.
What's your favorite weapon then?
I mean, obviously the Venator and the Renegade.
Ah, okay. What about the Raider tool?
I don't really use it much.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't use it.
Do you think it's too weak? Is that why you don't use it?
No, I just feel like the gun is stronger than that. If we're talking about PvP or ARC.
Oh yeah, well this is mainly against PvP. So what you would say, where do you think the melee weapon stands at, you think? How much damage you think it does?
I don't know, what is it, like 5 hits or something like that, or so?
Yeah, so the base damage is 40. So with light shields, it's a 5 hit, medium is 6, and heavy is 7. The TTK is like around 4 to 6 seconds? Count that in your head, and that's pretty long time, right?
Still.
Yeah, and you gotta, in most situations the guy's gonna be like moving around, rolling and shit, right? So you gotta try and aim and hit him perfectly. You have to have the dot fairly near his body to hit him.
Yeah.
So would you say it's probably too weak and the TTK is so long? Do you think it should be stronger?
If we're talking about, if we're trying to be realistic physics, then yes, the hammer should be more damage.
Yeah.
I'm saying up close, yeah, it should be definitely buff.
Yeah. Which only the melee weapon can perform up close, that's it. I can't hit that blading over there, right?
But also what I'm saying is if it does 40 damage, right?
Yeah.
That's the same as like an impact grenade.
Yeah, and impact grenades are pretty weak. They're not that good. I'd rather use a trigger grenade.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So we're comparing it to like incomparability would be the impact grenade because I think they do 30 or 40, right?
Now, this guy's probably gonna shoot you. I don't know if I trust him. I highly recommend you should probably go around, maybe melee somebody. Future games, not right now, just to understand it. Because I use the melee weapon a lot in this game, and it's pretty bad.
Bad as in good?
No, like it's like it could be increased, it could be improved. Because you're losing stamina from this thing.
That's what I'm asking. Why would I use it?
Well, for people that want to have the playstyle use a melee weapon, right? Then they should be able to have that option. Because you don't lose any stamina for using the gun. You use stamina from meleeing in this game, which is kind of weird.
Well,
I think you should.
If you were swinging that hammer in real life, you would definitely get tired faster than shooting a gun.
Okay.
That physics is fair.
So, if I'm gonna suffer that penalty, would you think the melee weapon should be rewarded for that penalty?
I mean, I would be fine with that, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely I'd say that it could use a buff. I wouldn't say a major buff.
Yeah, just like an improvement is what I'm trying to get at here. Because right now it's really bad. Like,
I definitely agree with that.
Just
I also
try it.
think that like some of the base model weapons you get a buff because like if you come in with a free loadout and you're using a base model feature and somebody's got a loadout, you're screwed 99 out of 100 times.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Yeah, you definitely be rewarded for bringing in better stuff versus a free
a little
loadout.
bit. Like they did a good job with you know, they gave you 2 extra bullets in the Rattler. I'm happy they did that, but that's still not enough bullets because of how weak it is.
So you would say that it would be needed improvement to the melee, right, by a little bit?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd be cool with that.
Okay.
It would make me use it more.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to hear.
If it was like a 3-ish, like just take off like one swing, maybe like 3 or 4 swings on a green shield.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Because then you could use it in the situation of like kind of like Call of Duty, you know?
Yeah.
You
right.
shoot a guy up and then you go knife him.
If you're able to get that close, right, which is hard to do, you should be rewarded for that. Without any gadgets or any kind of like environment involved to influence that fight in your favor. Just a raw melee weapon. It's pretty hard.
What's up, brother? I would say I agree wholeheartedly with you that it should. A buff would be. I'd be cool with a buff for sure.
Heck yeah. Well, appreciate the feedback, my man. I'll let you do your thing.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Man.
But we're going to start here with the melee weapon. I'm going to bring this up again because it's so important. I hope they see this. But the melee weapon is sitting at a 29 damage per hit right now, which is very low. It needs to be between a 60 to a 70 damage per hit. And that will put it at a 2 hit to a no shield, a 3 hit to light and medium, and a 4 hit to medium. Or a 4 hit to heavy, sorry. As of right now, on top side, it's the complete opposite. It's like double that. Like 4 hits to no shield, 5 to light, 6 to medium, and 7 to heavy. That is insanely long, like 4 to 6 seconds in TTK. That needs to get fixed. Can't tell you how many fights I've lost when I'm trying to melee somebody. I even lost fights while people were looting. Like they were in the looting menu, and I went up behind them and melee them, and they were still able to dive away and freaking drop me quick because of how bad the melee weapon is. So if we can get that fixed in Bark Studios, that'll be a blessing, because it's really bad right now. And moving on to the next one. So with the Showstopper, this one I don't understand how it's so weak in the game. This was at 10 seconds before on Arc, but now it's at 7. They nerfed it there. But I'm curious to know why they didn't increase or buff the Raider stun duration, because the Jolt Mine here is 4, and as you can see, it requires green resources, but this is at 4 seconds, which I think is balanced. I don't understand how the Showstopper is weaker.
So weak.
That one just throws me off. As you can see, it requires blue, but it lasts 2 seconds. It's very weak for blue resources. I would think that it should be the same as a Jolt Mine, or even maybe at least 3 seconds, because 2 seconds is just not enough time, especially for me as a melee player. I have to run to the guy after stun him. He's already out of that stun before I can run at him. It's just pretty much game over at minimum, just because it's blue resources. Now if it was green, then maybe I would say leave it as it is, but it's 2 for blue. That's pretty expensive for just a short, stun duration. I don't think it's even worth. I don't even bother using these. They're just not good in my opinion. I kind of just find myself using the Jolt Mine most of the time, but it's a defensive gadget. I'm more of an offensive player, so I'd rather use the Showstopper, but until these get modified to where they can get a little more better, like increase it by a second, I would be fine with that. And the radius, 6 meters, it's kind of pretty large. I would say that might needs to be decreased by maybe 2 meters because this blows up on impact. That's crazy. But 6 meters is pretty big. I would say they probably need to decrease that by a little bit. That's where I stand on that for the showstopper. For the gas grenade, these two are not really working this properly. They definitely don't last 20 seconds. And they don't drain your stamina unless you're right where it has detonated from. So I can literally stand around the cloud, as you can see in the footage, and it won't drain my stamina. Like it says 7.5 meters, that's when it will affect me. I'm within that 7.5. It seems like it only starts to affect you when you're within like maybe 3 or even 2 meters. It seems like the gas grenade, you have to be even closer. And I would like to use these, but as it stands right now, I mean, there's no point. I threw this on plenty of raiders before, and they just completely run away from it and unscathed, unaffected by it. And that's because it's not working. For the explosive mine, this is not something I use, but I feel like since, you know, it requires blue resources as well, it should be a little more stronger in my opinion. You need 4 of these to down a light shield guy. That is a lot. The explosive compounds, they're pretty rare to find. And the sensors, same thing. They're not really that common to find either. I think these definitely need to be a little more stronger in my opinion. Maybe around like 70 damage. I mean, 4 for a light shield is nuts. You know, two mines at the most for a light shield and 3 for medium and heavy. In my opinion, I think that's where it stands. I'm aware that the trigger grenade is going to be getting nerfed soon, so that's W. I do abuse this, so like this is this is pretty OP. I have this in my adaptive loadout right now for melee. Not something I would really use on the daily, but I kind of use it just to soften up the enemy because the melee hits are just so bad in the game right now. Like, feels like you have a pogo stick as a melee weapon instead of an actual steel hammer. So I just use this to soften up the enemy. But these are getting nerfed in the next update, so I wouldn't probably use these really that much anymore. I don't know how they're gonna nerf this. I think they should just nerf the raider damage and its ability to blow this up really quickly. Like, there needs to be a delay. These are basically like impact grenades. I throw these like impact grenades right now. Pretty busted.
Thank you, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I appreciate that. Thanks, bro.
Get freaking dosed.
Not today.
I'm just asking you. Oh, he's trying to pickaxe me. Yo! Hey!
No way! Holy
I offered so many gifts. I tried to be nice. I offered gifts.
I can't believe that! Blows my mind how weak this thing is.
We are brothers!
Okay, so now we're on to the proposition, what I have for the developers. I'm going to try and break this down as easily as I can. So we'll start here with the crossbow. So just picture this as a crossbow. It's going to have 4 attachments, and it is an epic rarity. So you need a blueprint for this. So the first attachment will be string attachment. So this will increase its range of how far it can shoot. So it'll be levels 1 through 3. And then we'll have an underbarrel mod, which is, there's already underbarrel mods in the game already, 1 through 3 as well. And then for the magazine, this is where this is going to change the performance of the weapon. So it's stock without it right now. The arrows will probably be 2-shot to a light shield as it stands. But when you add a magazine effect to it, or a magazine mod, it's going to decrease the damage to where you're going to have to hit all 3 arrows on one guy. And then for the stock mod, there's already 3 stocks in the game already. Moving on to the refined bow and arrow. This is a rare blue rarity weapon, which you're going to have to find the blueprint for it as well. Attachments it's going to have for it is obviously going to be the string attachment, 1 through 3, to increase its range. And I've already seen this circulating on the internet already. The community's already asking for it. Is ammo mods for the bow and arrow. So for the first one will be a light impact arrow, so it will blow up on impact. The second one will be a stun arrow, so it will stun an enemy or an arc for like 2.5 seconds and maybe a raider for 0.5 milliseconds. And then the gas arrow. For the stun and gas arrows, those are going to do a little less damage than the standard and light impact arrows. Moving on to the light bow and arrow, this will be less effective. You'll be able to have only 1 attachment with this. That would be only the string attachment, which will only have levels 1 through 3. But you'll be able to craft this in the gunsmith without a blueprint. And it'll be attached to free loadouts by chance if you happen to bring it in. And the riot shield. The riot shield will be another weapon that you can bring in. And it'll also have 2 attachment slots as well. And the first one would be coverage. So finding this one, I think there should only be 1 attachment for it. It will just be coverage. You can only cover in front of you as 180. So if you have the attachment on, it will increase its angles. Not to 90%, I think that's a little too much. And then the next one would be a ricochet attachment. And for balance recommendations on this, maybe it should be like a legendary rarity. So you gotta find it. It should be a blueprint as well, to where you can craft it as well, but it would be pretty expensive. And as we're getting over to the melee weapons now, the melee weapons are going to be pretty similar across the board, depending on how it is. Like for a spear where you can throw it, and an actual sword where you're going to be mainly swinging. So we'll start with the sword. For the first one, all the melee weapons are going to have this, is reach. So from levels 1 through 3, for stock will be 2 meters. And then for level 3, it will be 2.75 meters you can hit him from. And then for the second attachment for the sword, well, to have like a heavy swing mechanic. And this heavy swing needs to be balanced accordingly to where its attack speed will be detrimentally low, and for its output will be a little higher, more damage. So for example, if you happen to use the heavy attack, the base damage for the melee, how it should be right now, how it is in the range, it's 3 hits to down a light shield. Right now it's like 5 in topside, which is ridiculous. They definitely need to look into that and fix that. And then for throwable melee weapons like the axe and the spear, I believe the attachment should be somewhat to where it's able to do a little bit more damage. We're going to move down here to the raider tool here. Just picture this is the raider tool. So it will have 2 attachment slots as well. It would have the reach, which the melee weapons do have. So 1 through 3, you're going to have the same performance as 2 meters. And then a level 3 would be 2.75. And then you would have elemental attachment right here, which is going to be mostly effective against arc and not raiders. So we're going to be moving on to what I think should be better improved for melee weapons, and that involves the skill tree here. And that's these 3 right here. So we're going to start here with the effortless swing. I've explained this in the other video, but I'm just going to bring it up again, and what we're going to replace it with, explain more in detail, is the mobility restriction when the melee weapon is in your hand. So when you're running with your melee weapon right now, you're in a jog state. And this is very bad when somebody's trying to run away from you, right? And even if they're running away with their gun, they still happen to outrun you, which is crazy to me. So if this is 5 out of 5, you will be in the sprint as you would be when your weapons are stowed. So when you have your melee weapon out, you're going to be in the full sprint. It's going to increase that chance of you catching up to the enemy much better as if it is 0 out of 5, which would be in a jog state. This should be here, completely remove the effortless swing and replace it with this ability that I have right there. Moving on to the next one, allowed to melee while in sprint. This is 5 out of 5. This will correlate with this pretty well. So if this is 0 out of 5 and this is 0 out of 5, right? Or 1 out of 5 since you got to get here. You're pretty much going to be like in a jog state when you're meleeing at this point. But if this is 0 out of 5, the way it looks right now is pretty clunky and you look like a snail. Pretty much stuck in mud when you're trying to melee right now. And it's pretty bad when, you know, somebody's like diving or, you know, jumping or even running away from you. You can't even catch them because every time you swing your melee weapon, you're just stuck in that animation, and the delay is so long between when you're trying to swing and when you're trying to run again. It's very long for some reason. And with this fix would definitely fix that, or with this ability it would definitely fix that. And then for the final one right here, this is probably the most useless one right here, but I was thinking, what if you're able to move this ability right here? Melee's abilities cost less stamina, and put it here, but it no longer costs stamina. As a melee player, being able to melee attack and that costs stamina is so detrimental right now. It's probably the second most detrimental restriction that us melee players have to deal with in the game as of right now. This skill right here is completely useless and can be replaced with your melee abilities no longer cost stamina. These 3 abilities will definitely improve the playstyle much better. I myself won't even bother even applying points right here. Now that we're on the skill tree, we're going to be discussing skills that are useless, not working, and could be improved. As I'm explaining these specific skills based off my research of going around asking creators, players in-game of what they would choose, these skills were the least picked. So we're going to start with the conditioning branch. Gentle pressure should be merged with silent scavenger, as it basically has the same outcome with looting. This skill could be replaced with being able to full sprint with gadgets, mines, and healing items. Now keep in mind, you still can't use them while in full sprint, just being able to carry them. Now I've already discussed these skills in the proposal, so we're gonna move over to back on your feet, and it offers a slight healing effect when critically hurt. I've tested this and it was worse than a standard bandage. This skill could be replaced with the ability to use gadgets, mines while in full sprint. Now you still won't be able to use healing items in full sprint, as that is tied to a specific augment. I've seen this being used in previous games like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Moving over to the mobility branch, we'll start with sturdy ankles, as this skill could benefit with an additional feature to increase the altitude of being able to recover your fall. So for example, if the default 0 out of 5 is 20 meters, then at 5 out of 5 would be 30 meters, and after that comes with the current feature to take less fall damage when falling from lethal heights, or non-lethal heights. This will increase the pick rate, as most players won't bother jumping off a ledge that will result in them splatting on the ground, in my opinion. Next is off the wall. This is another useless skill. Even for players that want to parkour, it's just not enough to leap to another ledge. This needs a buff, as it will improve the experience when jumping from ledge to ledge. Keep in mind, for some reason in this game, you can't even hang off a ledge, which is odd to me, but you can hang on a ladder. Would love to see the ability to hang on a ledge in future updates. Final branch is the survival branch, and only one skill stuck out to me, and that is the agile croucher. Even with 5 out of 5, the speed is still extremely slow. You're just better off walking instead of using the stance in-game. A buff to be able to crouch run would be a nice improvement, or increase it to where it's faster than walking. Before I move on to the next segment, I believe there should be more skills in the survivor branch for more stealth capabilities, as I only saw one, and that is suffer in silence. But it only activates when you're critically hurt. Once again, not really a useful skill, as you're kind of able to just apply it while you're going through the branch. I would love to see some more stealth capabilities or stealth skills in this specific branch. So we're now moving on to another idea that I have in terms of improving your melee weapons is being able to upgrade. This is a huge one. This will also put it in line with the other weapons in the game, because as of right now, with the Raider tool, you can't do nothing with it. So what if you can upgrade your melee weapons, and the benefits that you would get will be durability, attack speed, because for the guns it's fire rate. Attack speed and fire rate are pretty much the same thing, but for melee weapons it's attack speed. And then for right here, the third one is dispersion. So for the guns, it's like, for the Envo and the shotgun, the best example for that is when you shoot, and then the next time you try to shoot, that crosshair just gets back to its original size. So for the melee weapon, I was thinking what this could be for the third one is, there's no crosshair on your screen with the melee. There's only like a dot. It is very small. What I was thinking that what they can do with this is that every time you swing, it will kind of behave like the gun as well, depending on what kind of swing you have. Like for the overhead swing, it will be up and down. For the other swing, it will be left and right. If you're like going for like a up and down swing, this will like gradually increase or decrease the line that's going on your screen right there. And then for the left and right, it would expand left and right. The main two ones are durability and attack speed. Those are the main two ones. And then for its required resources, like for the melee weapon, for example, it would be mechanical components, and it would be like melee parts or something. That's my proposal for the developers in terms of expanding the variety and customization when it comes to melee weapons, crossbows, bow and arrows, and riot shields. It's just a different type of playstyle that, you know, other players like to play, and this will further increase that variety. We're now on to the explosive and grenades section for new things that they can add. So I was thinking the main one that I've came up with was throwing knives. They could possibly add throwing knives in the game where this is a simple throwable that does high damage if you land it on somebody. Next one would be like some sort of grenade that's pretty similar to the pulse mine. Something that you have to throw on somebody and it kind of knocks them down. And maybe a faster version of a throwing knife, which I call throwing stars, which you'll be able to throw these a lot more faster than a throwing knife would be like a medium rate, and then like a throwing star would be like a fast rate, but there'll be less damage. So throwing knives, throwing stars, and a grenade version for the pulse mine. Would love to see some new things added like that in the future. Alright, so if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you watching all the way through. If you have enjoyed it so far, make sure you guys give a like and subscribe, and if I missed anything in this video, please do not forget to drop some feedback in the comments below. As promised, I do have a loadout as well for you guys. If you guys want to try this loadout, this is what I recommend right now. Trigger grenades are definitely getting nerfed in the future, so my alternative right now is just, you know, you're gonna have to play a little defense, and that is just using jolt mines and maybe some pulse mines as well. Because as a defensive melee player, there's nothing really in here right now that I would like to put in the loadout because of how bad and weak the melee is in terms of its, you know, 4 to 6 second TTK, which is absurd, and the showstopper not really being as good as it's supposed to be right now. So good luck to you, and appreciate you watching the video. I stream 6 to 7 days a week on all platforms, so if you want to go ahead and check me out, we are live every day. Arc Raiders is becoming the most, you know, played game that I'm doing right now, and I hope it will be in the main future, and hopefully it will if they grant the stuff that we have asked in this video. So appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is we're watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later. But like, just take into account that you have to run to the guy, right? and you have no influence of like gadgets to maybe throw a smoke or a showstopper to influence the play, you literally just have to run at him to like maybe that pole right there. And he has his gun out like this, and he can just blast you. What are you gonna do in that situation? You're gonna run at him? You're gonna die, right?
Why are you gonna blast me?
No, I'm just giving an example. I'm not gonna shoot you, bro.
You're dirty liar.
ADHD?